Okay, so I guess this is my story. Um, Back in 2001, I was going through some things, self imposed, I guess you could say. And I was about to leave the house, and my mother told me, God bless you. To which I responded, God? What God? If there was a God, would I be going through this? Keep your God. Left the house. Later on that same day, a neighbor was going through some problems with another neighbor, and he was trying to rob him or something like that. And he was on drugs and drinking. We were all on drugs and drinking, just to be fair. Um, so, long story short, he ended up coming with a bunch of guys and a gun, to which I took out a knife and said, "Let's do this." Um, I ended up getting shot 3 times, but the thing that really impacted that moment was between the first and second shot, I was somehow taken back to the moment when my mother was going to tell me, God bless you. And I watched it all unfold. It was a period of about 4 minutes of time where I'm watching myself and my mother and how I responded. Now, mind you, I was in full fight mode at that time with the knife, trying to defend myself and whatnot. And, but I was somehow taken back here to the house and shown why all this was about to happen. So as soon as the scene unfolded, and um, I watched myself even leave, and my mother put her hands in her pockets and went inside, which I hadn't seen before, but I seen it in the vision. Then all of a sudden, I'm back in my body, and I'm taking the second shot, which is spinning me around. Then the third. As soon as I hit the floor, I was no longer in fight mode. I said, Lord, forgive me. And he was about to show me the higher power does exist. I had gotten shot right about here, went through the top of my aorta, through my lung, ricocheted off my spine, and I was gurgling blood out of my side. I knew I was dying. Um, so people ran as soon as I got shot and hit the floor. So I'm thinking I better get myself to the hospital somehow. And I told the people that were coming out of that house where I was, if you don't get me to the hospital, I am going to die. And they were struggling to pick me up. So I said, "Oh, I'm get up myself." And as soon as I tried, I guess I fainted or went out or something. So all of a sudden, I'm yelling at these people, "Why are you helping that guy? I'm the one that got hurt. What are you doing?" Then I take a closer look, and I see a tattoo on the back of that person's back, which they're at this point helping up to dragging him basically. And it was me, it was my tattoo. Startled me bad. So I am getting carried, and it scared me. I won't lie. And everything I remember, everything was very quiet, very dark, very echoey. You could just hear everything, just like everything that was like transpiring to people, what they were saying and things. But it was very cold. Um, so at this point, I get back into my body, and um, then I'm fully aware of what's going on. they get me to the hospital as fast as they could, and um, by the time they get to the hospital, I have lost. Uh, I guess the human body holds 9 liters, pints, or something of blood. I had already lost 7. I was in pretty bad shape. Um, I knew my parents would get there to the hospital, so I told the doctor, "Tell my parents, it's just a flesh wound. My dad has a bad heart." Um, so they start working on me and trying to figure out what happened to me. And well, a lot of things would happen at that point. I went out of my body again, saw them working on me, but the doctor had went out and told my dad, "Hey, he's really bad. He's can you take the truth?" And he said, "Yes." He said, "Well, your son more than likely won't make it out of this. Best we can do is stop the bleeding, and that's it. Give him some blood." And he told him, "Well, you do what you know how to do, and we'll do what we know how to do," which at that point was prayer. So they prayed. I, somehow, the doctor came out and told him he somehow made it through the operation, but he more than likely will never wake up out of this coma. And if he does, he'll be a vegetable. He lost way too much blood. In 3 days, I came out of the coma, was coherent, but I couldn't move. I made it through that somehow. I just refused to accept the fact that I wasn't going to move again. And I was able to move my neck. So I started just like with my teeth, just moving whatever I could, and eventually started moving my toes a little and just worked my ways up from there. But the point, I guess, is that God showed me, a higher power, whoever it was, showed me, hey, you don't disrespect me like that. Have some, especially not your parents, when it comes from them. But this is what I was shown, and I just thought I'd share this.